Recently, I visited World Service Corps volunteers and their hosts in Lima, Peru. While there, I noticed unfinished construction all over the large and densely populated city, and I was perplexed by it. I had never seen anything like it before. If I were to put a percentage to it, I might say at least 60% of buildings in the city, whether for housing or business, were unfinished on their top floors, exposing rooftops with half-made walls for rooms. A good example of the saying, when you can't build out, you build up. And to be honest, I thought all of this unfinished construction was unattractive. Then, while we were driving around the city, my travel partner said, "Wow, look at all of the potential of these buildings." My own thoughts and judgments paused for a moment while I considered what he had just said. Well, that's true, I thought. I felt a little ashamed for my previous judgment. But then I felt a change in my own perspective, from seeing these unfinished buildings as unsightly to viewing them as possibilities of something greater. One day, the 4th floor of that building would house a family, or the 2nd floor of that building would be leased by a new business. Jesus often used parables to describe the kingdom of God, and one of the most frequently used is the parable of the mustard seed. Although one of the smallest of all seeds, when planted, the mustard seed grows to a plant so large that birds can find shelter in its branches. From a very small seed, wonderful things can grow. From humble beginnings as the son of a carpenter, not a king, Jesus drew the attention of people of diverse backgrounds, offering a vision of God's abundant love, grace, and generosity for all. And from an unlikely group of disciples, the message of Christ was shared and continues to be shared all over the world. Sometimes it's easy to underestimate potential or to undervalue the impact we can make. Perhaps we see the vacant lot by our church as an eyesore rather than an opportunity to start a community garden and connect with our neighbors. Or we think that the few hours per week that we can volunteer or the amount of money that we can donate doesn't matter in the big picture to the church. But to reach our full potential, we must look beyond the perspective of what is to see what could be. And our resources of time, talent, and treasure must be shared and put into action. As faithful disciples, we are called to practice generosity as a spiritual discipline in response to God's grace and love. When we give to local and world church mission tithes from the desires of our hearts, we can anticipate the transformative impact of our generosity. Let's join together in seeing God's vision for the church with the awareness that we have the collective capacity to reach our full potential.